This episode is sponsored by Pastel.
I only had $10,000, so when the money finished, it was all over. So many people told me I was crazy. One day I'm like in the hotel room just like editing a video, and there was a knock at the door, and I thought it was like housekeeping. So I've just like opened the door. I'm like in my pajamas, like open the door, and there's like some guys like, "Hey man, love your videos. Like, let's go have a beer." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, and you feel really vulnerable if you're someone that's like too easily tempted, or you have trouble with like setting yourself a structure and sticking to it when there's no one else telling you what you need to do all the time. Then you need to be really aware of that and really careful. You need to come out here with a plan, or you get lost in the sauce.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is Eric. I'm here with my favorite Bangkok podcast girl, Ern, and we're bringing you some of the best people, places, and stories from right here in Bangkok, Thailand. If you're new to the channel, if you're coming to Thailand soon, hit the subscribe button. Check us out on Apple and Spotify podcasts. If you want to support the channel, buy us a coffee down below. And we recently have a new Instagram account called NIGHTLIFE Thailand for a new project we're working on. So do me a favor right now, pause the video, go follow that new Instagram account, NIGHTLIFE Thailand. We're going to be posting a lot of new things on there. We've got some events we're planning and a lot of things we can't announce quite yet, but just go follow that account right now. Tonight, we have a very special guest that I just mentioned to you is years in the making, I think. We've got Keis One here. Adam, can I call you Adam?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Adam. Finally, you made it onto One Night in Bangkok.
Finally, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
finally.
You were probably one of the most suggested people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you never hit me up.
Well,
just left me hanging.
You know, okay, you want me to tell you the reason for that? Can I ask you, did you think that like I had like some kind of grudge or something?
No, not at all.
I didn't want to do it because I didn't think we were ready. I wanted to be at a certain point first.
I mean, that's a massive compliment.
Because a lot of people did me favors early on. I was lucky, and I appreciate that. But I didn't want to like, you probably get this a lot. You get people hitting you up all the time for some kind of collaboration or something, and you might be thinking, I don't think you're quite there yet. You know, it's sometimes it's not a match yet. And I just was like, let's just let this evolve a little first.
It actually worked out great. Like, I've been very impressed with your setup and everything. Like everything that you do is very professional, and I love it. I don't know if our brands aligned early on. You were leaning into that, like the whole nightlife thing, and there was a lot of like the bar girl stuff, which I was trying to like branch away from at that point. I was trying to stay away from nightlife and, you know, polish my brand a little more to be more appealing to sponsors and everything. But I've seen like a bit of a shift in what you're doing.
We've had a lot of interesting guests. We've had a very interesting mix of guests. So I want to go all the way back for a second to December 8th, 2021.
Okay.
Do you know what happened on that day?
I have no idea.
I emailed you.
Okay.
This was around the time your channel hit 10,000 subscribers, and I emailed you, "Hey Adam, I came across your channel a few weeks ago, and I've been watching every day since. I especially appreciated this video," which was the video where you said you just crossed 10,000 subscribers, "because I can relate to the struggle." And then we chatted a little bit from there. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh yeah, I remember I emailed him. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I had you on my vidIQ. What was your first channel?
The Endless Voyage.
That was it. I had you on my vidIQ like competitors, so I could like was keeping tabs on like everyone else here.
Why? It
well, you obviously stood out to me at that point. So
well, okay. So maybe let's start like this. So you are more connected to this podcast than you probably realize. So I'm gonna do a separate episode on like how this whole idea started and the whole thing. But one of the crucial points was I had the idea for this and I was kind of in the planning stages. You know, when you have an idea and just kind of like thinking about it for a long time. And then I heard you say, I think it was you and Dan. Oh, me and Dan are going to start a podcast. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm going now. I'm doing it now.
Right.
And so I immediately started to put things into action. And then, you know, not to say like you could have done it like a year later and still like killed it. I'm not saying that.
No, yeah.
But that was the final thing that like pushed me over the edge to actually do it.
That's awesome.
So thank you very much.
I've been enjoying watching this grow and watching your journey.
Yeah. So, but let's go back for you. So you're from Australia, obviously.
Yeah.
Do a lot of Thai people, they don't know where you're from, they think like England or something?
Yeah, and even Australians, like my accent is super neutral now. So I've lived out of Australia for over 7 years.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Asia. I used to live in Seoul, South Korea, and then here. So I've gotten used to, I guess my Australian accent has come back a lot. I speak like that, I guess a bit more clearly and a little bit slower than I would naturally. So yeah, I do get, sometimes I'm in Australia and people will say like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from here.
Yeah. What did you, so you lived in Korea for a while, I know.
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
So I moved there the beginning of 2018.
Okay.
And I lived, I'd always wanted to, so I always wanted to live overseas, like somewhere, anywhere. Seoul and South Korea was a place that really interested me. I started learning about Korea like many, many years ago, and I got into the music, I'm really into Korean hip hop. And I just became interested in there. I always loved travel. I'd been to Thailand a bunch of times. I've been all over Asia, and I went to Korea, and I just had like an amazing time there, like incredible. I went with a friend, and he got called back on like the second or third day. He had to go back for work, like an emergency. And this was my first time ever being like solo in a country by myself. And Korea is really, it's not like Thailand that's really easy to get by with English. It's like, it's very different. I feel like here is very tourist friendly. Whereas like there, it was like a little bit of a struggle, and I was like nervous and uncomfortable. And I just pushed myself. On the first night, I just like went out to a bar by myself, which I'd never really done before. And ended up meeting all these amazing people, one of which like became like one of my friends to this day. And just, this is back in like 2015, I think. And I just had like an incredible experience there. And I just became really obsessed with the idea of living abroad and chasing adventure. I didn't care about money. I didn't care about like material things. I wanted fun and adventure over all of that. So Korea was where I was going to start, and I didn't know how long I was going to stay. And I just like made great friends. I got really settled. I was having an awesome time living there. And I lived there until the pandemic. And the only reason I left was they went into lockdowns. I was in the Philippines, like when all that madness started. And my parents were freaking out, and they're like, you know, it's really bad in Asia. Like that's what the media said at the beginning. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to go home. Like, but you know, remember it was like 6 weeks, the curve will flatten and then the world will go back to normal. So I was like, oh, you know what? Like I could go back, see my family for a bit, spend some time there. So I went to Australia, and then like the world shut down, and Korea was one of the last countries to open. Australia shut. I couldn't get out, even though I didn't live there. I had an apartment with all my things in Korea. I was in the Philippines just having some fun partying for my birthday, and I was stuck out of there. So I was just kind of staying with my parents, and in the news and everything, it was like, oh, just a few more weeks till we flatten the curve, like a few more weeks. And I was just there. I was paying my rent in Korea and just like waiting, and it never really ended. As we know, it went on for years, but Thailand opened just a tiny, tiny bit. They were letting like some people in, and Australia wasn't letting anyone out unless you lived outside of the country. So I qualified. There was a travel ban. I qualified to be exempt from that. So I applied to get into Thailand, got in, I applied to leave Australia. They let me leave. And then I came here just thinking I'll stay here until Korea opens. And then they didn't for like at least another year. And now it's home.
Had you been to Thailand before that?
Oh yeah, I'd been here like 7 times.
Oh, okay. So you had a good amount of experience.
Yeah. I actually like, I'd always wanted to live in Thailand at some point. It just wasn't yet. It was just sort of by circumstance that it all happened this way.
I always think it's crazy. I hear now a lot. People will they've never been here, and they just say, oh, I'm moving to Thailand.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you move to a foreign country if you've never been here? Just from a TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what they do, right? They start a TikTok and they do condo tours. And
yeah.
But I hear that a lot in the comments, like people saying, you know, I'm moving there, I'm coming. Never being really excited. It's like, whoa, that's a huge move.
Yeah.
I mean, you would know yourself, moving overseas is massive.
Yeah. And like when you originally went to Asia and stuff, and probably, you know, when you originally came to Thailand, there was no TikTok. There were no Instagram reels.
No.
There was maybe...
It wasn't even really YouTube, you know?
Maybe a tiny bit of YouTube, maybe a tiny bit, but it wasn't like now where everything's like professionally done. It was like some guy with a GoPro and, you know, so...
Yeah.
So
I used to watch like you remember the movie The Hangover? Like I used to watch that, and I used to watch Bangkok Dangerous. Have you seen that?
Yeah, unfortunately I have.
I used to watch that because they were like shot here and you get to see Bangkok. And that's why like my videos are very visual, because I used to watch them to just see the Bangkok streets and get the feel, and that hype me up for my next trip.
Yeah. Yeah. So you arrived probably so I was in Thailand before, and then when COVID happened, like you, I went back to the US, and then the second they allowed people back into Thailand, I applied for the visa like within hours of them reopening it, and I was back on the plane and back here. So I bet we got back here around the same time in December of that year.
I was May.
Oh, really?
April, end of April.
Okay, so you were a few months later. Okay. So a lot of the YouTube people, like Thailand-based YouTube people that we know now, I think they kind of started and grew a lot because they were here during that COVID time. But you actually came right after they reopened. Were you thinking like, when you came here, what were you thinking? Did you have a plan about what you're going to make or what you're going to do?
I mean, I came here solely to succeed on YouTube. Like no other goals or mission or anything. It was all YouTube. I was all in. But I did have that feeling of like, it wasn't quite a year, but it was probably, I was close to a year actually. Like the Thailand had been closed. Yeah. I'm like, I'm a year behind all these people that I'm watching, like Paddy Doyle, Ken Abroad, CB Media.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Like I would watch these guys. Chris, retired working for you. Like, and I was watching all these guys' channels growing, and I'm like, I got to get there. I got to get started. Like, I got to jump on this. And the same with all of them. Like, I know all of them personally. None of us planned to be Thailand YouTubers. It was travel YouTubers, all like sort of moving around Southeast Asia, with the exception of Chris, maybe he was very settled here. But like, it just through circumstance was being stuck here at least like another year or whatever after that. This whole Thailand YouTube niche became like a real thing. And I was watching them and I was like dying to just get here and get amongst it.
Feeling. So when you got here, did you give yourself a certain amount of time? Like, I'm going to go for 6 months and then...
It was more, so I came here with like 10,000 Australian dollars. That's all I had left to my name at that point. I didn't get to work like during COVID. I was like stuck out of Korea. I was still paying rent there. It was like... And
that's really not a lot. I mean, some people, especially for living in Bangkok, that's not a lot.
Yeah. And when the money ended, I was going back to my parents' place with so that's why I said like I was all in. There was no plan B. There was no, I'm going to see if this worked. It had to work.
Yeah.
And that's why I made videos every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But have you done that before? Like the YouTube things? Or
I had like, going way back. So I started a YouTube channel in like 2016 and I was reacting to Korean hip hop videos. Just something I did for fun. I actually did it to grow my Instagram back then because that's when Instagram was popular. I didn't know you could monetize. I didn't know anything about YouTube. And it was like this massive hit because I was doing something really unique. I was reacting to Korean hip hop. I was white. I could read and write and understand a lot of Korean. So it was quite a unique thing. That channel was wildly successful. And I did it reacting through this. It's like a hip hop show that's on every year. It's like the Olympics of hip hop in Korea. So I was reacting to these videos and the channel was wildly successful. It got great views and everything. And when the show finished at the end, I got bored with it and I deleted the channel. I didn't think anything of it. I was like,
Just deleted?
Yeah. But I didn't know you could make money from YouTube. I didn't know anything. I was just doing it for fun. And it wasn't growing my Instagram, which is what I'd hoped. Like it did a little bit, but not what I'd hoped. And I was just like, I don't see myself doing this again. And I just deleted it. I've still got like a handful of those videos and there's like one's like 30K, 50K, 100K views. But like each episode of the show, I'd put out like 20 videos. So they're all getting these like insane views. Had I monetized it, I would have made a ton of money back then, but I didn't even know that you could do that. So I deleted that channel. And then when I wanted to move abroad and travel, I was like, well, I'd started watching vlogs on YouTube. And I'm like, well, I want to do that because that's really fun. And then I can travel and I can have that freedom. And I get to do something really cool. And I've always enjoyed making videos. So it just seemed perfect for me. And then I started the channel when I moved to Korea. And in hindsight, I had success, but I saw it as a failure because my last channel was like, bang, like immediate views, subscribers, like the channel's blowing up, like exploding. And I was like, it's not doing that. Like you know what it's like at the beginning. Sometimes you can go days without getting a subscriber.
Yeah.
And I grew it to like 400 subscribers quite quickly. But to me, it was really, really slow. And I was like, it's not working, like dream's over. Forget about
Because
it.
didn't you get to like 10,000 within a very short amount of time?
Yeah?
Like a few months? Yeah.
Yeah. So like when I lived in Korea, it was like, it wasn't working. So I quit that dream. I gave up on that dream, but I still made videos for fun and I still posted them on YouTube. I just didn't care about the views or anything like that. And I continued to get better without even really realizing. But then when I was so I was in the Philippines right before the world shut down. And one of my last videos there blew up. It got like 2,000 views or something like that. I don't remember. Like
Massive
for me, right? I was getting like 30, 50 views a video before that. So I was like, oh my God, maybe there is something here. Right as I got stuck in Australia, like living at my parents' place with nothing to do, can't go out, can't do anything. So I started learning about YouTube and I started like obsessing about the algorithm and filmmaking and learning how to be better on camera. And I started like really understanding like the fundamentals, the building blocks, everything that you need to succeed. So then when the world when Thailand did finally open and I managed to get here, I had all that knowledge and I just needed to put it into place. I'd been practicing making videos in Australia. There were videos about nothing. I didn't post them. They were just for me to get better on camera and me to get better with like angles and audio and all those things. So when I came here, I just hit the ground running and I only had $10,000. So when the money finished, it was all over.
Yeah.
So I just made a video every single day. I wanted to be, and if I failed at that, I was okay. Like I was like, okay, it's not for me, but this was like the last go at it. And if I failed, I wanted to be sitting on that plane going, well, I did everything I possibly could. So that was every day, basically.
Hey guys, if you're coming to Bangkok soon, if you want to have a great night out, I highly suggest you check out Pastel at the Era Hotel on Sukhumvit Soi 11. So many guests on this show have recommended it, and I recently had a chance to check it out again. I went for dinner, and I also stayed late for the party. It's such a unique venue because it's an awesome rooftop restaurant, but as the night gets later, it turns into a complete party experience. So if you want a different kind of night out in Bangkok, if you want something unique, if you want great food and a good view and an awesome party, check out Pastel on Sukhumvit Soi 11. I'm going to put the link down below and let me know what you guys think. Now let's get back to the episode. Yeah, what's interesting to me about your story is when you came to Thailand and did this, you weren't exactly a young guy. I mean, it's all relative.
Not at all,
and
yeah.
We're, I think, a similar age. So I know how you feel. And I can just imagine tons of people maybe in your life or like strangers on the internet are like, what are you, stupid? You should be focusing on this. You should be doing this, retirement, family, the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, look, when I wanted to throw away my career, I had a great job. I worked in hotels on the corporate side. I just gotten my first like 6-figure promotion and I was like rising within the company and everything. And I had all these people trying to talk me out of quitting, but I didn't want that. I would look at the people above me and it's like, yeah, they make insane money and they got like a nice car and live in a nice house, have a boat or whatever, but I don't want to be you. And I wanted freedom, adventure. And if money was what I had to trade off for that, that's fine. I would rather earn hardly anything. I'm happy eating like 2-minute noodles all day, like every day, and not having to go to an office ever again. So the mindset was that like I wanted to live basic, and so many people told me I was crazy, and I still get it in the comments like, well, what are you going to do in the future? Are you saving like blah blah blah? Like, but a
like
lot of
you're a
people,
financial planner or something.
yeah, or like they have any idea what
yeah,
I've been doing. Like, yeah, but.
So I remember the very first video I saw of yours.
Okay.
And I remember where I was when I watched it. It's weird how like I remember these things, but then, you know, I won't remember like, I don't know, my brother's birthday or something. My brother's birthday is actually today. So happy birthday.
Okay.
Alex.
Happy birthday. Did you remember?
I haven't called him yet,
Oh.
but to be fair, I got an 11-hour head start. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So, but the first video I saw of yours was you filmed yourself going on a Tinder date in Bangkok to a Korean place. And I think this may be like an infamous video for you because I think this was one of the videos that really propelled you.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was kind of a double-edged sword, because although it did well and a lot of people discovered you, I think you didn't want to set the precedent that your channel was like this kind of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I learned a lot really quickly. And I learned that about featuring girls or other people in the videos. Like I case study people. I case studied you. I like follow people on vidIQ, and I case study channels, and I just see what people are doing and what makes channels succeed and fail and where they fall off and everything like that, always. And I would watch people that would have like an attractive partner or someone they would stick in all the thumbnails of the videos. And of course the videos do well, but then you see couples that break up and the channel falls apart. It's like no one was watching for you. They're watching for the half naked girl in the thumbnail. So like for me back then, I did the first Tinder video I did was just like a fun idea I had. I did it in Pattaya during the lockdowns. And the video like did really well for me then. And I was like, this was fun. Like I had a ball doing it. So then I did it like, I think 2 more times, and they would always like do really well. But then I started to realize anytime I was starting to get this gap of like, if there's a girl in the video, we get more views and then less. And it's like, okay, I need to be careful here and still like approach this with a strategy that like, I need to be the brand, because if they're watching for someone else and they leave, or if I want to do something else, then I'm screwed. So I was still really aware of that. And I would like that girl I was seeing for a while, I would put her in some videos and then like not for quite a while. Like I would space them out and everything.
Did you have problems with people reaching out to some of these?
Oh yeah.
And like, tell me about that.
This is a huge thing. So like that, like I had people that I wasn't even following on social media, but they would like, people would find them through the people that follow me. And like this happened all through like a whole bunch of my friends. Like I was having friends in Korea like DM me like, hey, this person that follows you is like started DMing me like what's going on. And I was like, okay, I need to like have a separate Instagram now because there are weird people out there. Like, and this thing happens, like you would know it. When people watch you all the time, they feel like they know you and they feel like they can just message you. And it can become a really suffocating thing. Do you get people? Yeah.
Nobody messages Ern. What are you talking about?
No, they came up in real life, and then they start to like, maybe Eric should do like this. He should listen to you, blah, blah, blah. Like they make me feel like, oh, they know me as well, but actually they don't. But I mean, thanks for watching, by the way. But like sometimes
chill.
It's not everything, you know. Yeah. What we said is not all in our life. It's just some part of our life. Sometimes they judge, so just smile and they're like, okay.
That's it. Like 99% of the people are lovely and have nothing but good intentions, but it's that 1% that really kind of ruins it.
Yeah. I can totally relate to what you were saying about this, because I had a girlfriend. You probably saw her in a lot of my videos on my other channel. And it was just, we're just having fun, you know, making videos, traveling or whatever. And then she started her own YouTube channel, and I started this, and I made the conscious decision that I didn't want to include her, because people can be really weird. Like people early on, even in this channel, I don't know if someone messaged her or you, Ern, or someone, and they'd be like, oh, I'm a friend of Eric's. I would, and they'd say like some weird thing, like they know me. And I just thought like, if this is how it is already now, imagine when this grows bigger. So sometimes it's best, I think, just to like separate things and keep them private.
Yeah, I had like, and I do this in a couple of different ways. When I was in Pattaya, like Bangkok went into like dark red or whatever. So I went down and lived in Pattaya for a little while. And I was just like staying out of a hotel down there. And my channel was small. It was like maybe 5,000 subscribers at the time. And one day I'm like in the hotel room, just like editing a video, and there was a knock at the door, and I thought it was like housekeeping. So I've just like opened the door. I'm like in my pajamas, like open the door, and there's like some guys like, hey man, love your videos. Like, let's go have a beer. And I was like, holy shit. Like, and you feel really vulnerable. So then since then I've been like like tiny channel, and how many people were in Thailand at that time. So I'm like, whoa, I need to be really conscious of this. So now I've never shown like where I live, my last condo that I lived in, when I lived in Asok, that way, I never filmed my building. I never filmed in my street. I used to walk out of like some other building that was like a kilometer away, or like within walking distance. Like, so I made it seem like I lived somewhere else just to give me that peace of mind. But yeah, same goes with like messaging your friends and everything like that. Yeah. And for me, it was very much the same too. I'm making videos and then hardly getting any views, right? Small channel, like not many views. It's just about fun. For me, filming my friends, or if we go out and have drinks and I bring the camera, it's just about fun and we have a good time and everybody enjoys the video. But yeah, there is that 1% that really ruins that.
Yeah, because I noticed you have a girlfriend now and you don't show her in your videos.
Nope.
So did you have a conversation with her about that? And like, how did that go?
So I have two strong reasons why I haven't and I won't. And I've asked her, like, if you want to be a part of this, like if you feel like left out or something, that's cool, tell me. But she actually likes the reasons why. So the first reason is like, I want an element of a private life. I don't, like some things are for public and I share, but some things are just for me. And I found like when you externalize so much, I would externalize like friendships and people I knew and share all these experiences. Other people know that. And it's like, some things I want just for me. So I built a firm wall there. It's like, this is just for me. This is not for any, like for an audience or for entertainment. This is for me, my personal life. And I don't share my family. I mean, I put my brother or my dad in videos, but like, I don't share anything about them. Never said like names or anything like that. And that's just to have some things that are just for me. And they're things I don't need to share. The second reason is I never want to feel like I've used her in any way for views or clickbait or whatever. Like I see people using their partner and like in revealing clothes to get views in a thumbnail. And I think that's kind of messed up. Like I get it. And I've done things like that. I've like used people in thumbnails before, but like, I don't want the relationship to have any of that. I just want it to be a normal relationship.
Yeah. Do you ever have problems? Like your girlfriend isn't Thai. I want to mention that, right? But do you ever have Thai women? I think are known for, let's just say, being a little bit jealous sometimes. Have you ever had that situation where because you're, so well known now, does your partner ever feel like insecure?
It's actually been way easier than I expected because like when I have my private Instagram that I have my friends and like girls that I know like from the past and everything like that. And I will post photos with her on there and people see that I'm in a relationship and no one's bothered me. No one's done anything that's made me uncomfortable or like jeopardized the relationship. It's actually been the easiest in my life to cut all ties and stop talking to like any other girls. I think Thai girls can be jealous. Yeah. But I think they're also quite respectful, generally speaking, of people that are in a relationship. That's been my experience anyway. I haven't had anyone like try and get between or anything like that, or no one, everyone just stopped messaging me from the time I
right after they saw like, you started a new relationship. Yeah.
Like you separated your accounts and did it that way.
I'd done it long before.
Yeah.
So I made the personal Instagram long before that, like early when it started getting weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard thing to navigate now because everything is on the internet, on your phone, on Instagram, public. On TikTok, on YouTube, on Google. Like it's like you can't escape it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. What do you think the hardest thing has been over the past few years, going from working like a corporate job to moving to a foreign country and doing this whole online YouTube thing?
I think the biggest thing was just the beginning. Like I messed it up like everybody does. Like when I moved to Korea, I stayed in the holiday mode for too long and I was having too much fun and partying. And I went over there with like a big amount of money. So I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, we can go out every night. And I just did too much too quickly. I realized quite early on. I made a video, I think it was like when I was been living in Korea for a month, and I made a video and I sort of reflected on my experience from there. And I talked about that. So I had realized it by that point, but just like you do go through like culture shock of living in a different place. And I had never had like that much free time and just no responsibility.
Yeah, I see that a lot here. People come here and they think, oh, it's going to be so great, blah, blah, blah. And they get here and they have no structure. They're just drinking every night. They're just partying every night. They're not being productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have discipline.
Have to have discipline. So like a great thing was before I moved here, I made a 1 month living in Korea and a 3 month living in Korea video. And I watched them before I came here so I could learn from myself.
Yeah.
And I that was one of the things I spoke about was like, I did too much too quickly. So when I came here, I was like very mindful of that. But the first time I got it all wrong. You know, I was just doing what everybody does. It's almost like a rite of passage, you know?
So for the people now in 2025 that are thinking about moving to Thailand, they've seen it on Instagram, they've seen it on YouTube, they've seen it on TikTok, and they're like, I want to go there. Who would you say are like the people where that's right for them? And who are the people where it's not a good idea, it's wrong for them?
I mean, you need to be really strong-willed and like, you know, saying no is like a really hard thing. And you will know like from being here, it's always someone's birthday. There's always some event on. There's always something happening. And there's always people coming to visit. Like I had a friend from Australia out here recently and I know he was over here partying and I was just like, I had too much on. I had to just be like, sorry, man, I know you're here on a holiday and you want to have some fun, but I can't see you. You know, and that sucks. And sometimes like people invite you out and you just need to say like, no. So if you're someone that's like too easily tempted or you have trouble with like setting yourself a structure and sticking to it when there's no one else telling you what you need to do all the time, then you need to be really aware of that and really careful. You need to come out here with a plan.
Yeah.
Or you get lost in the sauce.
Oh yeah, I've seen it so many times. I think people make a decision, like a permanent decision, they have no idea what they're talking about. It's like, don't decide to move to a foreign country for the rest of your life. Say you're going to come for a month. Say you're going to come for 3 months or maybe 6 months. But don't be like, I'm going to be here for 5 years when you don't even know how to order kapow in Thai. Like,
you may hate
baby
it.
steps.
You may hate it. You know, like Bangkok is, it's a hell of a city, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know that we have started a brand new One Night in Bangkok community group hosted on the school platform. If you're coming to Bangkok soon, if you're traveling here, if you're thinking about moving here and you want to get the most out of your Bangkok experience, if you want some tips on how to get set up here, or if you just want to know the best places to go out, join the group down below. You can talk to Ern and I directly there. You can meet like-minded subscribers. And in the coming months, I'm going to be putting out a lot of guides and helpful info to help you guys get out there and have a great time in Bangkok. So join us down at the link below. It's totally free and we'll see you there. Now let's get back to the episode. Would you consider, so you've been in Bangkok the whole time pretty much, or Pattaya too, but would you consider living anywhere else in Thailand?
I don't know. So like, I love the city. It gives me an energy. It's great for like filming videos. Like Bangkok is unbelievably picturesque. Photogenic is probably a better word, but it's perfect for what I need. I was fed up with living in Asok. So I used to live on Soi 21, Asok Monterey Road, and I started to really hate it. The traffic, like when I moved there, it was COVID.
You
it was
can't
like,
go anywhere. Like if you're trying to drive, forget it.
That's the worst intersection. Actually, those two, that Rama 9, Phetchaburi Road and Sukhumvit.
Yeah.
But like, I lived sort of halfway between Sukhumvit and Phetchaburi Road along Soi 21. And when I moved there, it was COVID. So the streets were quiet. It was quiet. The offices were closed. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Incredible view, great condo and everything. But it just got so busy. And it got to the point like I would go do something. I'd be out of the city and just like getting home was a nightmare. And if I wanted, like sometimes I'm just lazy and I just want to sit in a grab and or get a taxi home. And that last bit, it's quicker for me to walk from like Sukhumvit Road. It just like defeats the purpose. And like, I just got fed up with the traffic and like that road sucks. The sidewalk down there is a nightmare. So I was running out of patience for it. And then I moved out of the city where I live now. A friend of mine actually lives there and I just went out to go see him and I was like, oh my God, this is like, you go over the river and it's like a completely
you live on
Where's
the other
that
side of the
area?
river.
over near Icon Siam.
So it's like Thonburi area.
Yes, around there. And it's
It's
like,
really far from here.
yes and no. Like,
Yeah.
I can walk out of my door and I can be at Safan Taxi in like Sathorn in like half an hour. So that's fine. I was going out to see him one day and he picked me up in his car and we drove to go have lunch somewhere. Then we drove to like a cafe and then we went to his place and I was just like, oh my God, we're just like driving around and parking. Like this is like Western sort of lifestyle. Something that I'd never even thought of living in Asok. You don't drive anywhere. It's a nightmare. And I was just like, whoa, there's this whole other part of Bangkok. And we're going to these like really cool restaurants and things. And I was like, okay, I think I like this. And I went to his place, which is where I now live as well. It's like a complex. I was in there and there's like kids playing and people walking dogs and like birds and everything. I was just like, oh my God, this is still like on the edge of Bangkok, but it's not right in the madness of the city. And I absolutely love it there. It's just like, it's been the perfect like evolution.
And you got a house there.
Yeah, house.
That's
big
cool.
Place.
You've got a driveway.
Three-story house. Yeah, I got a driveway. I got like a parking spot.
And because I saw you kind of converted a room to a studio. Looks really cool. It's nice to have a dedicated space like that, right?
It is. Like, it's been really good for my creative process. Like, it's great to have a place that I can go, be happy to be in, and like ideas just come to me. And it's like just a dedicated space for that.
Now, did you recently buy a truck, or how long have you had the pickup truck?
I got it like at the end of last year.
Okay. What did you get it out of necessity? Like because you're living there, you need a vehicle, or you just are like, you know what, I want this thing.
I've always been into cars and bikes and everything, and being out that way because I can drive everywhere. I wanted to get something. Like I kind of want two cars. I want like a fast Japanese turbo car, but the truck is really practical for me because I can put my motorbike in it. And this is something I want to do more of if it ever stops raining, is put the bike in the back of the truck, go drive somewhere, and then go for a ride for a couple of days.
And you did like a whole video series you were like painting the truck or wrapping the truck, I think?
Like modifying the truck.
Yeah. That's cool. It's funny because I have like no interest in that topic, but for some reason I thought it was interesting.
So did you watch?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, that's amazing. So I was talking about this with a friend yesterday. I made myself a promise at the beginning of this year, was like, I'm going to make more videos that are just for me. And like, I'm not burnt out, never been burnt out, but I was very business minded. Whereas coming into this year, I had like 2 major sponsors locked in for the whole year. So I was like, even if I made zero money, I could live off that. So it's like nice to have that bit of security. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do more videos just for me. And if they get 4,000 views, so be it. And that was like the modifying the car and like doing more motorbike stuff. And that series like did really well. And they started getting like really good views. And what I come to realize is like people in the comments saying things like, I've never been interested in modifying a car, but your passion and excitement shines through. And
well, I think once people, so here's my thing. You give me some YouTube advice now, right? I think once people invest and buy into you as a person, then they're open to things you're interested in.
Yeah.
So for me, I did this other channel that I'm shocked that you were one of like the 5 people that watched it, and no one gives a shit because no one cares about me. But now through this podcast, people I think have learned a lot about me, my experiences, my life. So maybe if I went back and did something again like I did before, maybe it would be more interesting to people.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it worked for me. Like, when I started here, I started making day in the life videos. That's what I like doing. Each video is one day and whatever happens in that day is the video. And I started doing that at the beginning and I was getting like no traction, right? Nobody cared. Because for that reason, like, I don't know you. Why should I care what you had for lunch today? But then like, because it was a great time, like during COVID and everything, there was always updates and I could show things. I was sharing information. It's like a psychology thing, right? You share something, you give someone something of value, some information, all of a sudden they become more interested in you. So I would slot those info vids, and I still do that to this day, like about topics that I have no interest in.
Like the marijuana one?
Yeah, I didn't want to say that word because I didn't know if it was going to get you like
Let's say it again.
But maybe
marijuana.
it's something like people interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to give something for them.
Exactly. That's purely a business move. Like I get new subscribers.
Yeah.
I don't make much money from those videos, if any at all, unless I can get a sponsor on them. But they reach an entirely new audience that don't know who I am. So that's a strategic move. And I still do those. I've got those ones that I just like lean into to get people more interested in the other stuff. And I think if you share enough things about yourself, people will find things in common with you. Like there are people that like Thailand and they are into modifying cars and they're like, oh, I like cars, he likes cars.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my mate. you know?
Hey, let me ask you about motorcycles because you have a background in motocross. I don't know what you call it.
motocross,
Motocross?
yeah.
Okay, I don't know if it's called something different in Australia.
No.
You guys have all kinds of weird names for things.
We do, yeah.
So, but you have a background in motocross. Do you ride street bikes at all?
I never did because I crashed a lot. I rode motocross at a really high level, and to get to a high level, you have to push yourself, and it's a gnarly sport. Like you break all your bones. Like you will every year you're gonna break something, sort of thing. Like you can't do this sport and not hurt yourself. So because I was always pushing myself, I've broken many bones over the years, and I have a problem with like I just have so much fun, and I just want to find the limit. Always like pushing myself, and I'm very competitive. And for how much I crash dirt bikes, I always thought like street bikes are not for me because I will get carried away.
Interesting.
Now I have a little bike now,
Yeah.
which is just like a cool bike, and I ride it just for fun.
What kind of bike is it?
It's a Honda Dash. It's a 125cc two-stroke. It's what have you seen like the Thai street bike races? This little noisy. They look.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you would know, right?
Yeah.
They're like. Yeah, they race them. They're fun little like lightweight.
Do you use it to
fast
like get
bike.
around or just for fun?
I just use it for fun.
Okay.
I did get it like I never used it to get around when I was in ASOC. Before I got the car, I used it quite a bit out where I was.
Yeah.
But now it's just for fun.
Have you ridden in Bangkok much or not at all?
I try and avoid it as
Okay.
much as possible.
See, I'm asking these questions because I recently got a bike here. And
Living here? No, I wouldn't.
And I'm like, I'm looking for people with experience to give me advice. Like foreigners, because Thai people, I feel like they just get how the driving culture works, and it's hard for them to articulate these things. But if you're saying you've ridden motocross at a high level and you're like, no, F that, I'm not riding in Bangkok. That's
Riding in Bangkok is like riding motocross. You're always like looking for a hole that might kill you. There's someone else that might kill you. Like
Exactly.
it's terrifying. Like I did a ride when I was living in ASOC. I had to go to Bang Na for something. Maybe it was to register the bike or something.
Yeah.
I had to go to Bang Na, and I did like Sukhumvit Road from here all the way to Bang Na, and then down that, whatever that road Mega Bang Na is on.
Okay.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And like, people ride so fast, like those flash delivery guys.
Yeah.
And
They have nothing to live for. They're just.
Oh my God. It's terrifying.
So I started. So I don't have a lot of experience riding motorcycles. I've had a motorcycle license since I was 18. And I rode a little bit. I did the Mae Song loop a few years ago. So I have some experience, but not in Bangkok.
But Bangkok is
It's
a completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I just want to challenge myself. So last month, I rented a small bike and I started riding and getting used to it. And then, but I noticed it's like what you said, like people just want to kill you. Like they don't care. So now, yesterday, I got a different bike. And this bike has a loud exhaust. Very loud, and I've noticed in the first 2 days it makes a huge difference. People stop messing with you. Yeah, people see you coming and they avoid you and they like give you some respect. Yeah, so if any of you want to ride a bike in Bangkok, get the loudest exhaust you can find. Yeah,
Great advice.
yeah,
We need more loud bikes in Bangkok.
of course. I mean, I get it
I
now.
hate that. It's
You-
too loud.
We were
Yeah, yeah.
driving
Like,
back today, right?
Yeah.
She was on a grab bike,
Yeah.
and I was on my bike, and I was coming up behind them, and I saw you. I think you heard it coming.
Yeah, I heard it. I didn't know that it was him. And then it kind of like, this is annoying.
Who's this douchebag? Oh,
Yes. And then I was looking back and it's like, oh, it's Eric. Okay. But then I heard it's like, because not, let's say like just 2-3% that's going to use this loud bike in Bangkok. They just use a small one, but it's really fast, not too loud like this. But he used this. And then I was like, okay, Eric, welcome.
Don't you miss the COVID times where it was just open streets and
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, so this was like when I bought my motorbike, I wanted to like I thought I would get out of Bangkok and go on these rides and go explore places that are just like 2 hours in every sort of direction. But what ended up happening was like, I would go for a ride, have an amazing time. And then the last hour is me battling all the horrible, like coming down my street, my old street, like Soy 21. And like, you end up on like Ramen 9 or something, like God be with you on that street. And it's just like, I would get home, park the bike, and I'm like, I don't ever want to do that again. That was horrible. Like, but the ride was amazing. It was just the first bit and the last bit is horrible. I rode to Kanchanaburi recently.
that's far.
It's far, yeah, but it was an amazing ride. I did it with Paddy Doyle, and It was
You
like
rode on a 125cc bike all
yeah,
the way there?
he has one as well. So yeah, we're all good. See, I'm already out of the city, so I missed a bit of that. But those like major roads getting out of even where I am, like heading towards Kanchanaburi, are not a fun time. There's like the giant trucks that are just, I don't understand. Like, it's terrifying.
How have you seen Bangkok or Thailand in general change since you got here?
There's been a few like distinct evolutions. I'll start with the one I dislike the most, and that is how much like during the pandemic, there was no tourism and you were very much treated like a local. Everything was cheaper, like restaurants. Like you see, like the day the borders open, they were putting stickers with new prices on the food, and like some of my favorite restaurants to go eat. Like, cool, the tourism's back. Let's double the prices. That, and then all of a sudden, like the scammer taxi drivers are back, and the tuk-tuk driver. People just look at you and see dollar signs, thinking you're a tourist. And when you live here, that kind of wears down on you. I get it. That's just how tourist destinations work. But after living here and being treated as a local for so long, that sort of overnight flip of the switch, that was a bit of a tough pill to swallow. And then, I didn't have that. The only times I'd come here before was on holidays. And like you're going for the tourist traps or whatever, but you don't care when you're on holidays.
Yeah, because when it's 2 weeks, it doesn't really
doesn't
matter.
matter. Yeah. 200 baht for a taxi, sweet.
Yeah.
But when I've been paying 50 baht for the last year and now all of a sudden it's 200, it's like...
Yeah. Which people say, oh, what's the difference? It's just a few dollar, whatever. But when you do it every day, it adds up, and you try to keep a budget.
It's more about you're not being respected anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I have a whole gripe with like taxi drivers doing that. A huge thing is I don't like that they're stealing from you. They're stealing from their company. They're not. It's not on the meter. Like it's just generally dishonest behavior. So I don't like that. But like. Yeah, it's that thing of like, oh, I used to get treated great, and now I'm being treated like a walking ATM. I don't like that. The one that's irked me the most.
What else have you seen change?
I mean, like a big thing is just how busy. It's interesting. So like when the borders first opened, that first year was just like insane for tourism. It was just so busy. Songkran was like wild, and it feels like quieter each year after that.
Yeah,
this
I
year
agree.
is quiet.
I think the other Southeast Asian countries are catching up.
Vietnam is
I think Thailand kind of took their spot for granted. And, when they play these games like, oh, we only want this kind of tourist and we only want to do this. And here's this new rule. And, these other countries were like, well, we'll take their money. Yeah.
It's, I know Chinese tourism's down like quite a bit at the moment. I went to China just recently and I just did a trip with my girlfriend. We just went for a couple of weeks. And everything was cheaper there than here. It blew my mind.
What is your honest opinion of China? Because I see very mixed things. I've never been to China. And yes, I'm American. For some reason, I think people are going to point that out. But what is your honest opinion of China, like good and bad? Is it, because you know how the people say, like the government that pushes a lot of propaganda and stuff?
So the first time I went to China, I was invited out by like, it's not like a government thing. It was just like a tourism agency sort of thing. They do it. Every country does it. Thailand does it. They bring influencers out, and I was invited out, and they said, if you want to come do all this stuff, we'll give you like free hotels and cool experiences and everything. And I was like, sick. That's like a dream come true, free holiday. And I posted my first video like arriving there, and I shared this. I was like, this is so exciting. And it just went the complete opposite way I thought it was going to. Everyone's like, oh, you're a CCP shill, you're this, you're that, you're like spreading propaganda. And I was like, I just saw it as a free holiday. But my experience when I was there, so I did like the first week was doing stuff with them, and they were touring and showing me around and everything. But the second week I was by myself, or I was with a mate, and we just had fun. And it's just like any other country. Like,
where did you go?
Went to Chongqing and Chengdu. And like visited like a few small towns and stuff around there. It's in Sichuan province. And I had an amazing time. And like people were saying, oh God, like the comments were insane on my videos. And people were telling me I'm going to be getting followed around. And like, I think people think China's like North Korea, and you're not allowed out and you can't do all these things and you got to be careful what you say and do. But normal life. I was like going out clubbing. I picked up girls. Like I was having a
What
great
is it
time.
like clubbing in China?
It's the same as clubbing anywhere else. Like
Really?
you are part of the problem. This is what everybody is like.
I'm curious though, because there's not some weird cultural, because I've dated mainland Chinese girls.
Right.
Not in China. I've met them in America or in Thailand, but there's definitely some strong cultural differences. Like that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I can't imagine being in China in those situations.
So for me, it was no different to being here or being in Korea.
Really? Okay.
Like I went to a hip hop club. It was just like a normal club.
Interesting.
Picked up a girl, took her home with me. Like
Okay.
it's just like normal experience. There's no like military walking down the street, tanks, anything like that. Like it's just a normal city.
Well,
I had like
here's what you don't know. That girl you met
is
is
a spy.
actually a spy.
Yeah. That's what Americans would love to tell me.
Yeah.
No, but like it was, to me, it was just like visiting another country. And I draw like sort of similarities. I spent a lot of time in like Japan and Korea, obviously. And, you know, China is different, but I draw similarities to, I draw quite a few, Koreans will hate this, but I draw a lot of similarities to Korea. Like, you know, they enjoy the same things and, you know, like trendy cafes and clubs and just normal.
I think maybe just something like, as a Thai person, is not about like the government things in China that we might don't like or hate. I think maybe it's more of about like maybe some culture, some behavior that they are mostly like that. Like not all Chinese like that, but most of the time when they come to Thailand or in the restaurant, they're like very loud. So maybe the picture, the perspective of the Chinese people that we see or we imagine, maybe it's like that.
No, I get that, because like I had thought similar things. Like when I lived in Australia, there are types of tourists that just like, and there are big cultural things. Like, you know, you will get that uncle guy that
exactly.
Like that's a thing, and people will light up a cigarette in a restaurant next to you and stuff like that. But like, that there are those cultural differences. But in terms of like, it was not like, because I understand the stereotype that you're saying, because I had that same thoughts when I lived in Australia, and I lived in Chinatown for a while, and it's like that was an interesting part of Sydney, and I was like, I want to see what a whole country like this is. Now, maybe I don't have the full picture, because I went to Chongqing, which is like a trendy new modern city. So like if you go to a city that's maybe an older population, like
it could be different.
It could be completely different. So I have a very sheltered view, but my experience was far different to what I expected, in a good way.
Well, in any case, people's feelings on China, it's really cool that you've built your brand to a point where you're getting invited on these kinds of things.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. That's an accomplishment in itself. I saw recently that you started some kind of creator program. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, love to. Thank you. That's nice.
That's what I'm here for.
So it's just sort of the next step of building outside of what I do. I put together a YouTube course a couple of years ago, and it did well. It was always earning me money on like new people coming on all the time. Dan, my good friend, you know, Dan the Man, he's one of the leading online course sellers on the internet for when it comes to like YouTube and content creation and everything like that. He is incredibly successful at that. So I always wanted to do more courses, and then I had this idea of like, okay, I'm just going to make a whole bunch of courses and I'll just sort of like slowly release them to keep people wanting to come along, because I do have a lot of knowledge to offer, because I spent so much time learning and obsessing over everything, and I'm very strategic in my approach to everything YouTube related. So I wanted to share that knowledge. Now, my business partner, I met him. He also has a YouTube channel, small, and he was just like starting out, and he wanted to interview me. And I was like, we had mutual friends, and all my mutual friends spoke really highly of this guy. So I was like, cool, let's do it. And I was having lunch with him sort of halfway through. We're going to various locations and shooting an interview, and we were having lunch. And he was telling me about a business idea that he had that was for something completely different, but it was about like a membership-based program. And I'm listening to him, but then I'm also thinking to myself, like, oh my God, if we can merge these two ideas. He has a great idea, and he's a marketing genius, and he's been part of startups And that's his whole thing. That's my weakness. I don't know any of that stuff. But the content creation and the how, I know all that stuff. And we're talking about having lunch, and I'm just like ticking away, and I'm like, there is something really like real with a lot of potential here. So I sat on it for like, I don't know, weeks. And I was just like, how can we make this work? And then I just sort of hit him up with a proposal. And it was quite an aggressive proposal. I was like, you got a great idea. I want half of it, but this is what I'm going to give you. And he came back to me quite quickly with a really good response. And then we started talking, and it all sort of came together. The start of it came together really quick. And then we've been working on it since like the end of last year. So it was like a big process to get to where we are, but it's a space for creators. So there's courses there, and from several instructors, there's courses there. There's a community where people can all chat and give each other feedback and really help each other grow. And this is working already. This has been a huge part of my success. Was like, I had Dan, and we would always send each other our videos, and we would roast each other's videos and be really honest in the feedback. Because as an artist, you can never see your own shortcomings, because if you could see them, you wouldn't have them. So this is where a fresh set of eyes really helps. And I had that with Dan. And then a little bit later, I had like a couple other friends. It was like a bit of a group chat sort of thing. And you learn so much about yourself so quickly.
Yeah, I am actually a big fan of paying for knowledge, because you can either pay for the knowledge and move quicker, or you can just take so much longer to figure it out on your own. So I'm a fan of that. And also the other thing you said is being like figuratively in the same room as other people with the same goals, helping each other is so powerful. Yeah. And that's something I wish I had more before.
It's been great. Like, we just rolled over to the second month, and only one person left, but he said, like, he hit us up and he's like, I'll be back. It's just financially not a great time for me. So everybody stayed on, which is like a massive green light for us. So we're doing something right, because that community is working. Like, people are posting a video in there and being like, give me feedback. And everyone will be, hey, I didn't like this bit, I didn't like that bit. And then I can come in with more of a technical analysis and be like, hey, like, you panned like 3 times in a row from left to right. That made me feel dizzy. Like, you know, mix that up, have a stationary shot in between. Like, you talked a little bit too long here, cut that bit. And I can like help fine tune that. And then on top of that, we've got courses from several creators, and we've got more coming in. We're going to have more coming in every single month. So it's like just this big hub of information.
What's the name of the program?
The Creator's Edge.
The Creator's Edge.
Is that something for Thai creator as well?
If, like, you want to teach something?
Yeah. What if it's me?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's open, because the way we see it, and the way it's beneficial for everybody is, if you wanted to teach something, you can bring people in that sign up to the program to it's just like a monthly membership. People will come for you, but they will stay for everything else that's in there. So they come to learn about your course, and then we've got like visa information in there. We've got like an Amazon. If you want to be open an Amazon store, there's a course coming out for that soon. On top of like YouTube, thumbnails and Instagram. So there's all these different things, and the idea is just like, it's just an information hub, and that people will come in there and they'll be able to learn endlessly.
Yeah, I'll put a link down below if people want to check it out.
Cool.
So there you go. All right. So before we get out of here, I want to hear from you. You know, Thailand, I feel like it's become much more mainstream in the last few years, thanks to social media. A lot of people want to ditch their home country and come out here. For people that say to you or to me, like, hey, Adam, Eric, I'm coming to Thailand this year, next year, whatever. What are let's say the 3 steps they need to do, 3 big steps they need to do to leave their country and end up here successfully?
The hardest one for me was to type the resignation letter, because like, that's when you're committing. I had a light bulb moment. I was like talking to one of my dad's friends one time, and I was like, I'm going to go. I've always like said for years, like, I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to go live in Asia. I'm going to go have this experience that I've always wanted. And I was chatting to one of my dad's mates, and he said to me, I almost did that once. And it just hit me. He's like, when he said, I was like, oh, I never want to have to say I almost did that. So I typed my resignation letter like that night. And then you committed after that. Like, I had no job. So I was like, I got to do this. And then you sell everything. But the hardest thing is like, there's always something coming up. Life always gets in the way, and it will continue to get in the way until you like pull the trigger. So I mentioned just before that, I got a promotion, and now all of a sudden I'm earning more money, and I'm like, oh, I could just push it back like a little bit more, and I'll go with more money, and I'll be in a better position. But there will always be something. And maybe you meet a new partner and you start a relationship, and then that just delays things even further, or maybe like, cancels that completely. So as soon as you think you can, you need to just like pull that trigger and type the resignation letter. And then the rest is all just downhill from there, because like if you don't have any security anymore, it's like, okay, sell the car. Let's start packing everything up. That's the hardest and the biggest step. I think what people do is there's so much information here now, especially like YouTube and social media and everything. People come here with the idea, oh, I'm going to go live in one of those Tongluo high rises before they even have been to Bangkok or even spent time living here, because your experience of coming here on holidays and your experience living here is worlds apart, or it should be anyway. So I recommend to people, don't commit to a part of the city or an area that you want to live until you come here and experience it. So like stay in Airbnbs. Before I moved into my place in Asok, it was an Airbnb actually, but I was staying like all over the city. I'd stay for like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks here, until I found an area I liked. And then like every building has occupancy pretty much in Bangkok. So if you stay somewhere you like, or maybe you stay across the road from somewhere that looks really appealing, then you can choose a place that way. I think people rush into that because it's a massive commitment. And just because something looks great on social media the expectation versus reality could be quite different.
Yeah. What do you think a realistic budget is for a young 20s or 30s single person living in Bangkok?
I think a great budget, I mean, you can go the full range, right? Like I was living on like 1,000 a month. You can do that. It's not a sustainable long-term thing. But I think like as I started to earn more, I think like anything over 2,000 US a month, you can live here quite well. I noticed when I was earning 2,000 a month, I was saving money, wasn't spending too much, but I wasn't out like partying all the time. Like I was here working and living kind of a normal life, and I go party on my weekend, whatever that was. And it still required discipline and budgeting. People spend much more than that, but I think you can live comfortably from 2,000. Would you agree?
I think that's a reasonable
from
bottom end of the range.
Yeah.
But it depends on, I would say there's two main things that affect it. Do you like to go out and party? Because alcohol, I mean, unless you're just buying it from 7-Eleven and drinking in the street, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's expensive. And girlfriend. If you have a girlfriend, and I'm not saying like you're supporting your girlfriend like you're giving her money. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying like going out to dinners and doing this and that kind of thing.
Having a nice time.
I spend less having a girlfriend.
Why? Because you stay home and cook food or something?
Yeah, there's that. But like, no, we go out, like she's a foodie. We go out and eat all the time. But it's like, I don't have those like 5,000 baht nights, 4 nights in a row sort of thing. Like that's how I would, when I was like starting to earn good money and I was like partying more and having fun and celebrating that, I would shoot down a Pattaya for a few days and party and cut loose. And like, you can spend 20,000 baht in a few days.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you could spend 20,000 baht in a day there if you're that way inclined. Like I wasn't there for that, but like, you can spend that money really quickly partying. And when I got a girlfriend and we weren't doing that, all of a sudden I was like, hey, I'm spending less. This is amazing. So that's a huge thing. But like whatever stage you're at with your budget, like now I'm spending around 120,000 baht a month is my typical spending. But that's only because the money is there. Like I was fine on $2,000 a month. When you earn more, you end up moving to a bigger place. You get a car.
I think actually that's like a very reasonable range, like 60 to 120,000 baht per month, depending on what you're interested in, what you're doing, your situation. I think that's realistic. When I see people say like $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, like you can survive, but why are you going to come here?
And what people often forget is like when you live on $1,000 a month, like you can, but there's no holidays. You can't fly home and see your family at Christmas.
Exactly.
You can't buy a new phone every couple of years, or if your MacBook shits itself. Like,
yeah.
you know, you're going to spend like 3 months worth of that money to go buy a new computer. Like you can't, well, you can live on $1,000 a month. You can't live on $12,000 a year.
Sure. Right. That's a really good quote. That makes a lot of sense. Adam, thank you for coming. I'm glad we finally made this happen. If you guys, I mean, obviously, if you know anything about Thailand, if you're watching this channel, you know who this guy is. So go check out his channel right after this, Keis One. Check out the Creator's Edge.
Yeah.
And are you active on Instagram or anything else?
Like I have an Instagram, but I
don't watch his Instagram. Just watch his YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more like this, if you have more guests that you want to suggest, drop it in the comments below, and we will see you in the next one.